Good morning, everyone. It's Wednesday, and I am glad it's Wednesday because that means half the week is over, and I just have the rest to finish up or get to the weekend, and it's going to be a little bit smoother sailing. I'm hoping and believing. But anyway, yes, today we are doing Christmas in the sizzling hot August weather. We're 100 degrees here in San Antonio, and we're supposed to have rain as well too, which is great because the grass is lovely and green. The trees are growing and thriving. So you may or may not hear some noise in the background. We've actually got some tree trimmers here today because I actually have limbs that are so low that I can't even walk on the sidewalk without hitting the branch, and I'm like 5'2", so that just gives you an idea of how much growth we've had because of all the rain, which is wonderful. I will never complain. But anyway, so we have some very exciting things that are going on right now, and there's just some lovely paper that I'm going to show you and that we're going to work with today. And you can thank one of my granddaughters who says, Nana, what do you do with all this beautiful paper? And it's just got, some of it's got a lot of stuff going on, but that's all right. We're going to talk through some of that today. So you can thank my granddaughter for saying, Nana, why don't you do this today? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do some beautiful paper that's out of the new mini catalog that just came out on the 3rd. So that's why this is sort of, you haven't seen it. You've actually seen the cover of the book, but it actually wasn't available and open to the public until the 3rd. So there you go. Now, let me just go on to the hand so I can show you what all we're going to do today, and I can show you why my granddaughter says there's just, how do you deal with it? Because there's so many choices, and I'm going to show you about that. All right, so let's go on over to the hands. All right, so this is what she's talking about. There is this beautiful, beautiful paper. And look, it's got foil in it. And really and truly, I wanted to show you this because when you look at the catalog and all, it's not always easy to see, okay? Or you can't really see that all this reflectiveness and what's in this paper here and so forth and all. And if you are on there today, if you'll be sure to say hi to me, and I'll say hi back if I can see that you're doing. But see, I want you to look at the paper. Okay, this is just one side of the paper. So when you get paper, your designer series paper, this is what this is called. There's actually 12 sheets that come to a packet. And the reason is because on this designer paper, the alternate side is like you flip it over. So while this paper is beautiful and reflective, because you can see it, the stars are reflective, or not stars, those are snowflakes. But so everything's very reflective and shiny, and it's beautiful. And then when you flip it over, I'm going to flip it over here. Let's see here. I'd already used most of this paper, but looky here. Look at all the colors you have here. And it's all just beautiful paper. I mean, you've got this here. And it doesn't just have to be used for Christmas. I mean, we got it here because it came out with a mini catalog, which is around the holidays and gears with holidays. But these colors you can use year-round for anything that you want. So I just want to show that to you because it is very beautiful, and you can't see that in the catalog. And I'll show you that. So here's the actual photo of the catalog. And as you can see, there's just no way you can see all that reflectiveness. I mean, you just don't. Good morning, Linda. Look at that. So you can't see the reflectiveness and the beauty of it. I mean, you can't even tell from this one the paper that we're going to use today. The paper I'm using today is this one here. Now you can see I've cut it up. I don't have much of it left. I kept all the scraps. But you can't capture that in the book. You can't tell it. It looks beautiful in the book, but there's just no way you can see all the reflectiveness of it. Now, I want to share with you a couple of things. This is exciting. It started this week. The mini catalog came out. So if you don't have a copy, didn't receive one, if you'll just message me, or you can even make a comment here, send me one, something like that. Here on Facebook, I'll get one to you. Because not only do we have the mini catalog, it says July to December, but it only began with August because of the fact of supply, the supply chain getting there, and actually the whole shipping thing has become an issue for everybody, for everything. So they had to sit there and move it back to August and through December. But along with this is celebration. And what celebration is, this is just a short time frame of August and September. And when you order something from the catalog, for every $50 that you order, then you sit there and can get free product. I'm going to go through the whole thing, but again, if you would like a copy of either of these, just text me. I shouldn't say text me, you can't text me on here, but you can put a message out there. You can message me through Messenger. You can sit there and write a comment and say, please send me a copy, and I'll get one to you. I'm trying to think what other ways. But you can also email through JudyAdventurousStamping.com. But there's two things I wanted to point out as well while we're still at it with the paper. Because as you ask about, as my granddaughter asked, it's like, gosh, how do you make a decision? And in the book, I'll just pick any book page. So at the bottom in the books, it'll tell you which cardstock that's recommended. So that takes part of the guessing out of it. That's not the only ones you could use, but those are the ones they actually recommend. The other thing that is done as well is that when you receive and order the paper, let's see if I can get up there. I don't know if it's blurry for you or not. It's a reflection. But anyway, again, when you order the paper and the package it comes in, again, like this particular one's called Whimsy and Wonder, it actually tells you the different colors that really go well with it. So like this one's called Blushing Bride, Crumb Cake, Mini Macaroon, Misty Moonlight, Mossy Meadow, and I can't read what that one says. A polished pink is what that one is. So there are choices, and that's what we're going to talk about today, because it is hard to make choices. When you sit up there and you look at the paper, so for example, today, here's the paper, like I said, we're using, and there were choices, and I don't have a whole sheet to show you because I cut it up and I've used most of my paper. And I'm going to use this, but I'm not using it today. And here's another piece I cut out. I already knew when I got this paper, I was going to be cutting out these ornaments, and I'm going to fussy cut them. But I will show you, I didn't use these colors, but I want to show you how it can look nice, just depending on what you're doing. So these are actually some colors that I picked out that I thought would easily go with this paper. And you can see, I didn't use these, but I could have. And you can see if you even if you just lay the paper against something, and you say, I'm not sure what I want to do. Different colors float our boats. You might think this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. I think it looks very good, but I don't necessarily think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. But, it's just whatever you do, and it's whatever you think you're going to do with it. And these aren't the only ones. I mean, the thing is so these are like sort of my first choices. But I also had my maybe choices in here. See, I put maybe, because I wasn't sure. It's like, I didn't have to be sure. But see, I could have easily looky there. And for them, I got some princesses in the family that they most probably would love that, as well as the pink. Here's another one. And again, they weren't my first choices, but you know what? I might go back and do it again and do it. So there are many choices, and part of that is if you have the paper, then just all you gotta do is lay your paper against it and see which one it is that you're gonna do, or you think you might do it with, and go from there. For example, I even had ribbon. And we'll talk more about ribbon when I do. Again, depending on my color paper and what I want to do, I had this ribbon pointed out, as well as this ribbon right here. And these are all in the catalog, regular catalog, and yet some of them also in the mini catalog. But I just want to show you, because there are choices, and there's lots of choices. So what we're going to do is start off simple today. And so for my lovely granddaughter, I would say I apologize. This is the one I did simple, and we're fixing to make. The only thing is I most probably wouldn't do this, because I have to keep in mind when simple is how fast, if I just want to knock out a few cards and get something out in the mail tomorrow, and I don't have a lot of time, I want something simple. The only thing that I would say that's not as simple and quick is this here, that I fussy cut it out. So what I'm going to show you right now is we're going to do a simple, but I'm not going to fussy cut that at this time. So I have regular cardstock, and you can see I'm using a different color. And in the end, I'll come back and show you so you can see and compare. I've already got the stuff cut out, and I even cut this a little bit slimmer because on that one it was really wide, and when I did it, so when you look at this here, this is really wide. When I did it here, I like it a lot, but I really wanted something here then to fill the gap because it was so large of a gap. This one I'm making smaller, so let's see how that's going to look for us. And you know, if you have a comment or any suggestions or whatever, just feel free to add in out there on the internet world. All right, so all we're going to do, so this one's simple. So for the simple, all we have to do is we get our paper, and in this particular case, I could have gone larger, and today I made some little templates just to give you an idea. Only because people ask me things, or my daughter asks me things, or grandkids ask me things, or friends ask me things. So I try to make it a little bit more simpler. So for example, most of us are visual. We like visual. So I was trying to originally figure out what size. I mean, I really love this paper, and it could have taken up the whole card. But the other thing is looking at, you know, how much of the cardstock you want to see right here versus this. Now, I wanted this to sort of pop like a window for me. So as I made these templates, then all I did, and all these are done is taken a 1/4 inch down from the beginning of the cardstock, a 5 1/4, and I just kept on sizing down a 1/4 inch. So I ended up with this right here. I believe it's the one, yeah, a 3 by 5, so I can verify what I did. So that's what we did. I did a 3 by 5 because when I do this, this is going to give me I still see plenty of the card. I mean, not the card, but I do see plenty of the card, but plenty of the actual beautiful paper. And then I've got the cardstock that I'm looking at to help just make it pop even more and beautiful. So at this point, then all I'm going to do is, that is good. And then I'm just going to put my banner here wherever I want it. In this particular case, I really love all the ornaments. I think I'm going to put mine here because that way I'll have this ornament right there above it. And this is directional paper, so you're going to have to really look at this. And when I go to do one of them later, I'll show you where I only had a little bit of paper left, and so I had to look at the direction of it. So it's like no different than fabric. If you're a person that sews or anything else, you get directional stuff, so you have to think about, okay, what do I want to do? The other thought is, when I cut this out, is how many whole ornaments will I get? So I wanted to try to make sure, just because it's a very busy paper, and I'll show you another very busy, up here, I got a bigger scrap here I can show you. So you think of this, you got this whole sheet of paper, and you can see I've cut things out, cut out ornaments or whatever I wanted to cut out. But it's got a lot of stuff, but it's all one directional. So when I went to cut it, it was like, all right, how many whole ornaments can I get on my one piece? So that's what I was looking for. You might look for something else. So at this point, then I'm going to first put this on because I'm going to have to trim it because I'm doing it diagonally. And this is just a 1/2 inch leftover paper. And you know it's going to be at least 4.5 inches wide, or 4 inches wide, but I did it 4.5 just so I have a little playroom. I don't like to put myself on the spot. So the bigger decision is where do you really want to put this and still have your ornaments? I'm going to put it right here. This is going to be a little bit different than what I did on my other sample, and I'll show you. That's because I really want to capitalize on this right here. I wasn't so much of the whole ornament at the moment. So for me, I like this. I'm fine with this. So we're going to sit there and we're going to go ahead and we're going to tape this down. I'll run some tape on it. Now, generally, if you are gentle with it and don't look like you're running a race, it goes on real easy and smooth. And I'm just going to put it right about there. You know, you can do it any way you want. That's what I'm doing. And all I'm going to do is just take my scissors. I don't know how to take my cutter out. Just take my scissors. I'm just going to flip it over. You can see here's the back side of the paper, which is beautiful paper. Christmas trees, and they're directional, so that's another thing. You're going to hear that more when I make one of the other cards. I'm just going to snip it off. And I decided to make my bows in advance versus trying to get here live and make a bow, because for whatever reason, I've been challenged for that. This is ready to go on because all I have left is the bow. I would still need to sit there and put something on the inside. On this colored paper, when you do the color stock, I generally cut a 4 and a 4 by 5.5. It's usually what I do, and I can check myself on that because I got my cheat sheet. No, it's usually 4 by 5.25. So I usually just make sure it's a 1/4 inch smaller than my actual cardstock. All right, thank you. Okay, so all we're going to do is I'm going to center it. You know, it almost looks like a nice picture frame the way this is going to be done. But I like that. Okay, now all we have to do is put the bow on, and what I've discovered with me, I don't know about you, is if I put myself enough ribbon, extra length, I know there might be wasting ribbons. I don't really like wasting ribbons, but to make life easier for me for today, so that I can make a bow without being challenged, and I didn't want a square knot. I did a square knot look, but I didn't really like it, and I'll show you that in a minute. Let me show you before I even do this. So I had choices. I could have done this here, where I just made like a square knot there, and I could have done the blue, and I would have worked it out. I would have flipped it over. I would have messed with it. But I mean, you have choices. There's so many pretty colors in here. It's easy to pick up one of those colors. But you know what? I'm thinking of those princesses in my life who love pink. And so I'm really going to work on, when I do this, I'm looking at bringing out the pink on this, which is what I've done. And let's see, I don't want to hide my happy holidays, so I might have to, might have to work with it. Each ribbon is different. Okay, so I'm gonna live with that. If I can't live with it, then I'll come back later on after today, like later on today, after I've like had more caffeine and all. Or water. I really need water. But then I'll just come back and say, hey, if I don't really like that, I want to turn around and just turn it around. I haven't really like pressed that glue on there really hard yet to make it stick really good, but you can see it's not really wanting to give. But if I really, really wanted to, I could work on getting it where it looked like that. Okay, so there's your simple card right there. Just simple. We tape this, cut it off, and put a bow on it. You could put bling. You'll see I put bling a little bit. But here's just give you different color scenarios. I did a different color ribbon. I made this thinner so it was quicker. We weren't going to fussy cut that. And I used 2 different cardstocks. But other than that, it's the same paper. So you have choices. All right, let's go to the next one where I stepped it up a little bit. So in this one, again, I'm going to use 2 different color stocks. Here's what I did originally, and then here's what we're fixing to do. That one I actually stamped in advance. This one I did not. All right, you don't need to stare at the gems. They're too pretty on their own. All right, so actually on this one, it is stepped up, and I actually changed my mind. So originally, this was my layout, and I really liked the embossing on this very vanilla stock, and it looks very nice, and it was great. I was working right along, but then I remember my beautiful, real delicate ribbon. And it looks so nice over it. And I'm actually, let's see, you can get that up there. It looks very nice over it. You really can't see the embossing though when I do that, but this is what I went with because I really, really liked it. So the way we're going to do this is, we're just going to put a little bit of tape on here. And you know what? I'm going to use my silicone mat so I do not get it on my paper, because then I'll be sticking to my paper. Alright, so I'm just going to run it as close as I can to the edge here. I can be nice to my taping. Don't have to overly do it, but I'm just going to do that right there, because we're going to build it first before we do anything else. Alright, and then I'm just going to take it here, and then all I'm going to do is I'm going to just do it just in case I do that. I really don't want to get sticky tape everywhere. Alright, so I'm just going to lightly cross this over right here, and I have that look right there. Now I played around with ribbon. There's beautiful, beautiful ribbons. They all look lovely, and you'll have to give me what your thought and feedback on this is. Okay, thank you, Linda. Thank you. Alright, yep, if you see something I need to do, let me know, because I get engaged with what I'm doing and I don't always can see or look up. So you actually had choices on this. So you've got the green, the mint macaroon. I have this color here. Oh, there's other colors. You always saw me use the pink, and you've already seen me with the blue, but I'll just show you. So this is a lighter color. There are choices, but see, for me, that's like really light. And right here, I could have used this ribbon here, but and it would have gone with the gray, but I really liked this. This is what I wanted to do today. This is what I did yesterday. And I'm going to do this right here. Now, in order to do this, I do have to put this down first. All right, so we're going to do that. And it's okay if it's over, so we can come and trim it, everything else. So all I'm going to do to hold this down is I'm going to use glue dots. And I'm just going to use a couple of them, because what it is, I just don't want it moving around on me while I'm trying to put the ribbon on, because I assure you it will move around. And the ribbon's going to cover it up anyway. And not only that, but it's also going to help me keep my ribbon on. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to put my glue dots there. And then I'm just going to take my ribbon right here, and I'm just putting, it doesn't matter, you can put it below, but I'm just covering up, really, all I'm doing is covering up the lines right here of the joining of the two cards. It just gives it a nice look. Nice Christmas. It feels very velvety like. Makes me think of Christmas already. So I'm just going to trim this. I like a little bit of the frayed look at the end, so I'm just going to trim this. You can do it from this side too if that makes it easier for you. So I'm going to trim it. And then I'm going to actually wrap that green ribbon around, but I just like the frayed look of this when you trim it, because it's a very light, airy type ribbon. And it just gives it that little extra, I'll flip it over, gives it that little extra touch, you know what I mean? Even if I wanted to try to color this in with a Stella, or wink of Stella, my fairy dust, or whatever, you're still not going to get the same look. Alright, now you see, that's how finely delicate it is. Sort of like trying to get a loose hair out there and take care of that. So all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to use my glue dots, because the glue dots are going to hold it down on the front right there. And I'm just going to put a glue dot back here, and you'll see that it just holds it down. And we're going to do the same thing here. And I know where the glue dots are at, so that's, if you're wondering why, how do I know? Because I can feel the glue dots actually, and so that I know about where I need to put that. Alright, and so what I did with this is, as we stepped it up, this is what you got to look down. Now we're going to sit here and we're going to use our dimensionals. And I did the dimensionals because I wanted that look and effect. You may not. You may say, hey, I'm just going to glue that down. That's fine. I would suggest you use, because I got this ribbon here, I would suggest you use the liquid glue that they have. But I am just going to use dimensionals on mine, because I'm not worried about that. I want more of the dimensional look on this here. Because on the simple one, we don't really have the dimensional look. It's not that we couldn't, but we're keeping it simple, so we're not doing all that. So this one's stepping it up from the last one. It's not going to put as much effort as we will the final one. But, you know, everything's based on your time. You know, that's why we have simple cards, you know, based on your time. It doesn't matter. Whoever you send your cards to, they're going to love it because they know you made it with your own two hands and that you had them in mind when you made it and that you made it special for them. So that's all that really matters. All right. So with this, then, I decided to go with the silver because I really like the silver. And this is actually, I can't think right now. Anyway, it'll come back to me in a minute. But I can stamp on this. The silver you can't stamp on. This material is too slick. See the reflection there? You can try it if you want. I tried it last night, and I tried it before, and I already knew. But my daughter says, "Oh no, we can do that." Well, you really can't. The ink doesn't. It smears. It's almost like when you go to do the ink, it smears. So on this here, this is actually pearlescence. That's what I was trying to think of. So we're going to stamp the pearlescence, and that's not a problem with the pearlescence. But what you have to keep in mind when you use the pearlescence is you're going to have to give it a moment to dry because it does have a little bit of a sheen, but it's not like the foil. This is a foiled type paper. This is a silver foiled paper. This has just got a pearlescence, so it's just got a sheen on it. So you can actually stamp on it, but what you have to remember is that when you stamp on it, you gotta give it a moment to dry. See, there you go. I actually stamped it upside down, which is fine. I got it centered no matter which way I go. And I'm gonna clean my stamp. That wouldn't be the first time I've stamped upside down. And I guarantee you it's not gonna be the last. Sometimes you just do without even thinking. So while this is drying though, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it around so I don't adhere it upside down, because I will. I have confidence. I know how to do these things. I'm going to go ahead and put at least my dimensionals here. And then this should be dry enough now that I can put my dimensionals. So you can see it doesn't take very long, but it's not like the other paper. And if you want me to try it, I actually brought extra today just in case I did, but you can see I can touch it and it didn't smear. Because there's nothing like thinking you finished a project and you touch it and smear it. I know because I did that last night. I'm thinking, okay, that was just wonderful. Let's just go see if we can make out a couple more of these. And I'm just going to center this. All right, then this is ready to put on. And then we're just going to do one more thing after this, and this card is done. So I'm just going to center it. You can do it any way you want. If you want to put it over here to the right, the left, whatever works for you. I like this one centered. I like it just going a little bit over the ribbon there. Again, everything helps with the dimensional. Then all we have left is the bling. So I did have choices of bling, and you can see all of it's very reflective. Couple of these three of these would go very, very good with this, but I'm actually going to use the lighter green, and I did not bring my tool, so I'm going to use my scissors here. I don't normally use my scissors, and I'm just going to put one here. You can put it wherever you want. I just have a tendency to usually put one right around in that area, and I always lightly do it in case I want to move it. Because once I really put that on there, it's not going to want to move without me possibly tearing. With this one, I don't know that it'd tear the pearlescence, but if I did regular cardstock, though, it would. And, you know, when you're trying to complete a card, the last thing you're wanting to do is try to have another opportunity for creativity. And you know what? When I did this one, I actually put 5 of them on here. You know what? Because I can. No other reason than that. We usually do it in odds. It's just the way our eyes are. And so, you know what? I can. And so I did. Because, again, when I think of my little princesses, which some of them are grown up too, I have to sit there and it's all about bling. You know, maybe too much bling for you. And that's the beauty of this. All of us create differently. you know, we all like things differently. And that's why it's just, I enjoy it. I enjoy it because my card doesn't have to look like your card. My card doesn't have to look like my neighbor's card or my friend's card. It's just my card that I've created that I'm going to give to somebody. All right, so there is our second card. So I'll just show you the colors again. 2 different color cardstocks. I use the same color ribbon. So you'll just have to let me know, which do you like best? All right. Okay, on to the third card. Here's our stepped up. Could it be stepped up more? Maybe. You know, it's a personal choice. This is what we're going to create. I'm going to use different color cardstock, just like I did with the others. And I'm going to use different color bling, just to show you that there are choices. When you have this kind of paper, there are so many choices. So this time, I've decided when I to do this here, I'm going to sit there and I'm going to use the dark gray. But here goes, we're going to go to the directional. So when I went to do this, I was going to do it just like I did here. But there's a difference. If I did that, this is directional paper. All of my stuff, including my little deer and all of you going this way. So that wasn't going to work because I didn't like it that way. So this is how we're going to solve it. We're going to turn it this way. Okay? Now again, one of the other papers, so I used all the papers from this Whimsy and Wonder. Okay, here's the pack. So this paper is so beautiful. You almost hate to sit there and, you know, turn it over and do this, but it's beautiful paper. So keep all the scraps because I will use every scrap. So all we're going to do is we're going to lay that out here. And look here. See if you can see that. Okay, now this is directional too. So I want you to look at this. So when I cut this paper to do this example for you today, I had to make a decision. Did I want the direction going this way? Or did I want the direction going this way? And here's how I decided. I just literally put it next to the paper. Am I going to want it going that way? Or am I going to go that way? So I decided this is the way I wanted to go. You know what? I could wake up tomorrow morning and think, wow, I don't like that. I want to go the other way. And I might just do it because I can and just to see how I really like it. So all we're going to do now at this point is I'm actually going to go ahead and actually put this on the paper because this one's going to go down first. And let's see how that's going to go on this foil. It should go just fine on this because we've got full type stuff on here. And it's going just fine. You know, if it didn't work out for you, then you could easily use the liquid glue or you could use dimensionals. I did not use dimensionals when I made this card originally, but I could. All right, so out of the way. We're just going to, again, I'm just going to sort of center this from the bottom. I'm doing it from the bottom because I cut the top of this just a little bit bigger so I have choices. But this here is no more than one of the sizes we already did. I stuck pretty much, I think, with the same size. So just to show you, this is an example of a 4 by 5 1/4 template I put out. That's definitely not it. And if we go here, this is a 3 1/4 by 5. So that looks like where I've headed toward. So when I get through, am I gonna go measure it perfectly? No, we're not gonna do that. You can if you want to, but I'm not. I'm just gonna sit up here and I'm actually just gonna glue this. Now, did I want this on dimensionals? I could. If you're not sure, here's a dimensional sheet and you can put it over it and say, I might could, but I think I'm still going to stick with, I'm just going to put it down because I'm going to do dimensionals with some of the other stuff. But I could. I'm not, but I could. And that's the thing. You know, I have been known, I think I even did this when I was working on these. I think I actually was going to do one thing until he did something totally different. Yeah, part of that's sticking because I've actually gotten some of that adhesive. So when you do this, you just, because sometimes I get in a hurry, that adhesive will get stuck up there sometimes because it went faster than it wanted to go versus if I go slow. But it'll come out and it'll work out. I have to remember, and I have to keep on working on it. I'll be working on it for a very long time, I'm sure. Working on doing my rolling tape simpler. Again, keep in mind, it's directional. So I almost did it upside down, which that would have not been fun. It would have been an opportunity for creativity that I really wasn't looking for today. So all I do is I just match it up with the lines I already have on the corners here because I want my paper to line up. And that's all I'm making sure is my paper lines up when I lay it down. And it does. That's what it should be. Alright, now we're going to sit there and we are going to fussy cut. You've heard me talk about fussy cutting, and especially if you watch Zoe and Nana stamping, I fussy cut a lot. So I'm just going to go ahead and fussy cut this here. So what fussy cutting is I knew I was going to use these ornaments. And yes, it does take away from your paper. But, you know, when you look at these ornaments, they're so pretty. I do not have Christmas ornaments that are this color or look like this. I'm trying to think if I even have any kind of pink or this color type. I've got I've got ornaments I've had for forever. I've collected through the years. So actually, and I tell you what I did on this too. I actually didn't do it right when I first did it, but what I did is I just sort of wiggled this paper as I cut it because I didn't want it to have that really, really super flat edge. I did one of those yesterday, and it was really very flat. And so I just sort of wiggled my paper because if you really look at the image, it's not like stamped on. It looks like it's more or less, it's got a little bit of a, I don't know, what if I call it, like a little fuzz on it. So it reminds me of a peach. Linda, you can appreciate that. All those peaches. It just looks, when you look at it, it looks like it's got a little fuzz on it. If you stared at it with your glasses on, like I wear glasses and I read and all. So if I put my glasses on, it looks like it's just a little fuzz. It's like a big thing, but I just sort of want to have that without taking away from it. So we're actually going to sit there. Here's one. And we're going to actually do fussy cut this one as well. So here's a beautiful ornament. It's different than what I used on the other one, but it's okay. I went and cut out several ornaments because I just knew I loved them. And that doesn't mean I'm going to rush out and buy pink ornaments from our tree, because I'm not. If it happens, it's going to be because the princesses come over and they're the ones that go pick out that ornament. So I always have a grandkids tree that they get to decorate any way they want. And the mystery elf comes during the night and might straighten out anything that looks like it might fall off or whatever. But they get to pick the colors and choose what they want to do. I like that because they have their own tree, so they can create however they want to with it. So we might end up with some pink. I could see that happening. But it won't be me. There'll be somebody else, or two, or three that'll do that. But it won't be Nana. Okay, so I have these two fussy cut out. And these are punched out. And it's just going to go here. We can go here. Now we could actually move this. This isn't etched in stone. It's like anything else. This is fluid. It can be moved. I can move this over here. Get more of a look at the ornament. I can move it this way. But I'm okay with it. It's going to get a little bit of that ornament. But that is okay with me. Because it's a beautiful ornament. You're going to capture the essence of that ornament. And I'm just going to put some dimensionals on here. And you can see the back of this paper is very beautiful too. Look at that. It's actually Christmas trees. Beautiful, beautiful. But I needed paper, and I wanted to use the coordinating paper to show you what you can do with the paper. I'm just going to center it. I'm going to let it go up there a little bit. I could go to the edge if I wanted to, but I'm just going to go right here. Okay? Again, it's all just a personal choice. Now, we still have to stamp this. But I'm going to look at it and see. I don't really know. These are going to both be lifted up. And I think I'm just going to put them on the sides like this. because I got pink here, I got pink here too. But I think if you don't know, then just flip it around. Hi, Nancy. Just flip it around and see what you like. And I just like it the other way. Okay, so we're just going to put dimensionals on here. And that's it. That's what I love about these ornaments is all you got to do is fussy cut. I actually did a small one. I want to do a big one, but it's all right. Put a big one back. And that's what fussy cutting is about, is you're literally taking some artwork and you're just cutting around it so that you can use it yourself. So that's why it's called fussy cutting. Generally, you move the paper and not the scissors. I'm not sure how I do it. I do whatever is easiest for me. It's sort of like some people are left-handed, some people are right-handed. So you do things a little differently. So that's what I'm generally told, is you usually move the paper around. Sometimes that works for me and sometimes it doesn't. And that's okay. And it's okay if this comes over. I like that when that stuff comes over. All we have to do now is we just have to stamp this and put some bling on. And actually I did this one in a different color. I actually did this one in a different color ink. And that's what I'm showing you too, is that different color inks just give it a different effect. You could do this in black. This one here, I got to hit it upside down again, which is okay because once I stamped it, I'm just going to sit there. I can move it around real easy. All right, now see, that didn't come out as dark as I would like it. So here's the deal. I can flip it over because it's pearlescence on both sides. I'm just going to go ahead and stamp it this time, make sure I got it inked good. All right, now I really should clean my ink. I didn't, but if I mess up, it means I have to go make another one. All right, so that one came out just fine. But see, don't panic. You say, all right, didn't stamp right or whatever. I have to throw it away. Well, no, you don't. Just flip it over. It's no big deal. I'm just going to clean my stamp though. I'll end up grabbing it real quick. And last week, for whatever reason, I could not let go of that gray. And we weren't going to do that again this week. So I'll just put my dimensionals up. Nobody will know that you messed up on the other side because it's going to be hidden on your card. And you know what? And the thing is, even if I'd messed up and this didn't have one, I could just as easily use this. In fact, when I make my next card, because I can make cards just for me, I think I will do that. So I actually like that. That was my backup plan for the other card. If I messed up, I had a backup plan. All right, so all we're going to do is put this on. And we'll put our gemstones on, and then I'll show you all the different cards compared. Now this one, because I changed out the colors, I actually have choices. I could put the pink, but I think I'm going to still stick with the original color that I put on here. And it's sort of hard with the lighting because it looks different colors, but it's actually the same color as that right now. So that's what I'm going to be using. And I just used these here. I have 3. Okay, that's the main thing. I got 3. Didn't have my tool with me. My other tool I like better. And I just put one here. I always seem to put one right on the card itself, or the tag. That's the problem with not having that tool, is even though my fingernails are shorter, I think they still stick. If I got rid of my fingernails, that wouldn't be a problem. Alright, it's okay. Alright, I'm putting that one there. I'm going to put one at the bottom. I did put one on that green just because I could. Do you have to? No, put me wherever you want. You know, I just tell you to use odds. Because it just works out better on people's eyes when they look at it, and your eyes too. I'm not going to comment on people's eyes today. I ain't going to comment on my own. But you just... Alright. It is easier when you use a tool. I got a tool that's got like a little stick on it or something. But you can just grab a hold of it. It's sticky on that other side. Alright, I'm not going to wrestle with this all day. I'm just, alright, it's stuck to me. Let me set it aside. I don't think I can set it aside. Alright, we'll try it one more time. If I don't get it this time, I'm moving on. I can come back later, go get my tool from my other area, because I have a couple of crafting areas. It's like wherever I'm located. Alright, I put 2 on there, and I actually put a third one. I just put the third one. I just put it out there on the card. Because I can. Alright, now, and that one's going to stick. Alright, can we get you to work? Alright, so there's my 3. Alright, and there's my card. Now keep in mind, like I said earlier, is that you're going to have to use, depending what you want, white, or you could even do an ivory. You're going to have to put cardstock on here. I didn't stamp the inside yet with whatever saying I want for the holiday season. But you still need to do that. And this one, it's going to go this way because we got it this direction here. So here's the first card I created to prepare for today. And then here's what I did today. So you can see they've got 2 different looks. Same paper, but yet 2 different looks. And then I didn't use the blue here with the trees because actually I ran out of it. I have used up all this paper already. I used the pink, which is fine. Got me to use the pink. So if we look at it today and look at everything we've showed today, we started out with keep it simple. We started out simple. And I'm just going to lay these side by side so you can see the simple ones first. Then we stepped it up, and all we did was add ribbon. And this one here, I took off the holly leaf because that really wasn't simple. That really takes time. Here's my spare holly leaf that I will cut out and use for something else, or I might come back in later, but I don't think so. I'm thinking of my granddaughter having a baby and a toddler, actually a toddler going on much older age. So we stepped it up. I had to keep that in mind. Simple really should be really simple. It should be something that you can sit down and knock out real easy. Cutting out that holly isn't like knocking it out real simple and easy. Alright, and then here's this right here where we've stepped it up completely. So you see I've used different cardstocks. You can see the different looks. So I've actually used 6 different colored cardstocks. And that's what you get. You get beautiful paper. It's still the same paper. I've just done some different, let's show you see that. All I've done is just did some different paper. I shouldn't say cardstock. I've used some different ribbons and just 1 or 2 inks just to show you how I can give it a different look. All right, I'll move it over just a little bit more, so that's better. All right, so that is it for today. Just a friendly reminder, there are other things you can, well, I shouldn't say friendly reminder, but there are other things you can do, and I'll show you also. This is actually that glitter paper, the pink. I'm going to do something with angels because I have princesses that like pink. So it's again showing you something else you can do with it. The other thing that I did as well, that I didn't create today, but just to show you how you use this paper. I don't know if I would do it on this pink or not. That might be a little bit too much. But I know with all this pretty paper, I can find something that this will go beautiful with and have a cardstock base. And again, I just used, all this is using the paper, and I've actually just used a die cut to cut this out, just to give it a different look. But it just goes to show you this paper's pretty and you can do a lot of different things with it. So just keep in mind that if you are interested in the catalog, be sure, so I'm grabbing it for you again. So if you are interested in the catalog, just let me know. If you don't have one, you want one, just either put a message for me here or send me a message through email or whatever, and I'll mail you one out. And this here is at Celebration. This celebration is only for August and September. Whenever you order $50, you'll get free product, which is really sweet. They only do this 2 times a year, but there's just many choices. Even some of it has die cuts as well as getting free paper, and it's beautiful paper. So it just depends on what you like. But just let me know. And I appreciate you joining in. Be sure to like us and share us on Facebook if you would. And same thing with YouTube. That's how we get Facebook to like us and allow us to show up easier when people go looking for us. All right. Until then, I'll see you next week on Wednesday, and we'll be doing something totally different. But it'll still be simple and stepping up. All right. Have a great and blessed week. Until next time. Bye.